You already know what I think about Donald Trump. All one has to do, so what I'm going to speak about here is him being in the Epstein files, but obviously much more than that. But, I don't want to get into every single sign of who Donald Trump is. Nothing can convince me unless I see something so overwhelming, of who he is. He's the Antichrist. He is the biblical Antichrist. These, the times that we're in, I'm 47 years old. I say this a lot to give people a timeline of what I've lived through, what I've seen. I lived in another world when there was no internet for quite some time, almost 20 years. And it really only came to its full fruition, and really when YouTube and Facebook came to be known, that you could upload videos and do that. Let's just give it 2010. It's probably a bit after that, but certainly there was a lot of information before that, but I don't want to go besides the point here. He, to me, and all my biblical studies, he is a symptom of what this world has become. Greed, anger, rage, lust, desire, filth, vileness, deceit, hypocrisy. He is all of them combined into one. I'm not from the U.S., but I may as well be because I'm an hour away from the border. And no, I don't want to be the U.S. I'm Canadian, so I just keep it there. And I'm not blaming anyone. I'm not calling anyone anything. You're watching this because you're probably searching for truth. You're probably born again. And you're searching for wisdom. You're searching for the truth here. And you will find it here. He is a culmination of what this society has become. When you look at social media and all these things, I wonder, just like hip hop, if you look further into it, was it a CIA thing? And I don't want to get into conspiracy stuff, okay? Just take a look how evil the music turned. I was into grunge, okay? Growing up, I loved Nirvana, Alice in Chains, all those types of groups. And although they're not godly, they were not hip-hop and gangster rap. That destroyed society, and you can just see the music today. I love music, and it's very hard for me to live without it in my pain. So when I see him and I see what he is, it's what we have become. Babylon. And listen, I believe Mystery Babylon is Jerusalem because it said where our Lord was crucified. It alludes to that. But come out of her, my people, I just believe that is, I think that's pertaining to coming out of the Babylonian system. You cannot walk in any square inch of North America or the West and even many countries of Asia without it feeling like it's Babylonian. I'm sure there's worse countries than there are the West, what that represents. So I know we're at the end because you see the major biblical prophecies of Daniel and Revelation taking place right in front of us. And I'm not going over them. I believe more than half of Revelation 13 is already fulfilled. the fire coming down from heaven, the prophet making the false prophet making the people worship the beast. I believe that took place on stage when he said, "I am dark MAGA." He got the whole crowd roaring. You can deal with that yourself and see. Go back, look at my videos, what I'm speaking about. It's not always what people think it's going to be. These people, man, look at the leaders that are in power right now. Where all of a sudden did they get their power? From the devil. Is that not it? How is it now that I just went on a long walk. Before you had to look on CPAC and certain Senate and parliamentary channels really to watch your favorite politician. But since COVID, they took certain power. And we are ruled by, well, really behind it is people like the Rothschilds and that. And I don't want to pretend to get into things I don't know truly about. But we know there is mega rich people like Elon Musk and NVIDIA and all those guys. But what's alarming is the symptom of what is now. The greed of the billionaires. This is about Donald Trump, don't worry. It's just all, everything to do with it. They're all so greedy that first they moved all and shipped all their jobs, shipped all their calling jobs, everything. That's why you see towns, like this was ours. These jobs were ours, but we gave them away because we gave our power to these men. We gave our power away to these men. We didn't stand up enough. And that's what happened. And I don't want to go out and blame people for that because, and pardon a brother, I wrote you an email shortly ago. I'm sure you may see this video. It's just I'm speaking about some things I said in there because ideas come to my head. So do you think that maybe they introduce all these different things to us, like bringing in fentanyl, OxyContin, which I got caught in because that's when my pain began? Horror show. Now look at it. Do you wonder who is responsible to the CIA for these rap music and all this, while these billionaires take, let's take 10 billionaires. Just one of those is responsible for many thousands of jobs, according to the amount of money that he has taken from the land. I am not communist, but I believe in fairness. Our jobs, the outcry goes high. God hears, God opens his ears to, because he knows that the worker is not getting his wages. This is why you see people in the street homeless and addicted to fentanyl. If they didn't have any of those things, if we didn't have any of these devices and AI and Epstein and all this and 3i Atlas, Apophis is real, 3i Atlas isn't, then we would stand up. That's why people say, oh, my father or my grandfather would have stood up. Would they really? Some of them are still alive. They're not, because they're dumbed down with this stuff too. So you can't really blame. They're the ones who built it. They say my father's generation was better than this. But if you take a look, they made their money off of what we are now. So there it is. And people don't think it's the end. Other than the obvious prophecies that are happening. Just waiting for Ezekiel 38, 39. I don't know when that's going to take place. Waiting for the mark of the beast. Man. So we have Donald Trump, who, if you're a Trump supporter, I'm not even with you. I don't even want to speak to you because I'll leave this video, even though this guy is, you would call him a propagandist. This is still moving through the news right now. But it was just this one I happened to look at first. A woman accusing Trump of you know what. And that he did this to a lot of different children. Or he said, I will kill you. This is what they do. We know how molesters work. And here's the first thing that's going to be said. So, am I saying he is? I'm not. Do I believe it? Yes. By all the evidence, I'd really love to run a beauty pageant, wouldn't you? Get the sexiest and most beautiful women out there. For what reason? Let's do a real young one. The man who exalts himself in his heart. Now listen. I'm going to do a contrast here. His name is appearing thousands of times, but he prospers by deceit. So he'll fool most. So all this stuff comes out. Why aren't they taking these people down now? Bill Gates, Bill Clinton. So here's a contrast. I got to think of one. You go to a crime scene. I don't know, it's out in the woods and you get a call from someone because you heard a big bang. You show up, you're the cops, you go there, and you have Donald Trump standing there over a body, right? He's standing right over the body, but he keeps telling you that it just can't be true. And he'll go this way and that way and that way, and until you're so confused. I'm a good person, is what he says. I don't know, really, man, how does this really end? How does this all end? How does he dig himself out of such a trench? You really can't. I always had in my mind, since I knew he was the Antichrist, and hearing all these bad things about him, what will it be that, will it really be the whole world under this power? Or could it just be a region? Because we never know. Some prophecies don't turn out the way we really think they will. It could just represent a large area, but I do think it is the world, but not in the way I don't think the enslavement is going to be like you think. I wonder if, is he willing to wage war to get away from the Epstein? Remember Benjamin Netanyahu? They were about to oust him out of power. The weeks, man, these people were, good Israelis were standing up to Benjamin Netanyahu. Week after week, hundreds of thousands. And then the war occurred. You see what? I can't say that's what happened, but it saved him from that. And I think those at some point will start again, or are. I don't know, I haven't looked into it lately, but we live in the most evil of times. We do. We live in the days of Noah. Don't make that mistake. Jesus said it will be like. He didn't say it would be the days of Noah, where people are saying they're run by the Nephilim and this and that. I mean, sure, you can channel the Nephilim. I absolutely believe that. I've seen them. They're spirits in my sleep paralysis episodes. I think there were only 3 qualifications in that one. People will be eating and drinking and marrying and giving in marriage, and so the flood came and took them away. I just want to say one other thing, listen, his name is mentioned. This is about pedophilia. This is about that. Remember, for how many years we, on TV, every time it was said, it was really bad. And before everything became so Babylon on the internet, where everyone knows everyone, we knew who these people were. And if they got sent to jail, you know what happens to them. But we know there's probably child sacrifice. You hear a lot of things lately about eating kids and, like, what was that, the Stanley Kubrick movie that, he died, 4 days after it was done, and someone came in and cut the movie, certain parts. I don't know. I may go and watch that movie just for the sake of wisdom. I don't watch movies. Donald Trump is the biblical Antichrist. You have the most powerful man in the world who is, I can't say that he is because I don't want to be the accuser. This is the evidence that's right in front of our face. There are many women claiming that he and his name, if his name is in there, probably hundreds of thousands, because there's millions of documents. They said thousands of times, thousands. So if there are 1,000 murders and he's at every single scene, do you get my point? So the world is giving him the benefit of the doubt, but they know in their heart, like Romans 1, God makes it obvious to people, we have no excuse. Look at this beautiful stuff. We see it. And anyways, there's one thing I wanted to raise other than this, so I'm just finished with that topic. I live in Ottawa, Canada, and like I said, I'm 47 years old. I've seen some very cold winters. The most I've ever really seen in a cold snap would be 3.5 weeks. And it could go to -40 with wind chill, Celsius, not Fahrenheit. Since the end of November, -7 Celsius and below, we've had about 50, if not getting towards 50 days of anywhere from -7 to -30. Most of those days are like 15 and lower. I had to go over and research all the different temperatures. And you look down in the States, this is like, they call it a polar vortex. You're hearing these weather bombs and stuff. We've been hearing that for a number of years now, where we were not before. Because these are the birth pains. Is it by God or is it by man? Jesus told us they would happen. These things would happen. That's all you need to know. He didn't say who would do it. So you look in the States, it's like snowing in the South, right? And they break down from, like 1 centimeter of snow or less. It's easy to drive in the snow, but I actually like driving in the snow. It's fun, but rear-wheel drive too. Storms, 3,000 kilometers long. Now, I remember this, and I read this, and I did study this. I personally set out to research if it's true that whenever they try to split the land of Israel, God sends wicked storms our way. And he does. He does. I would just go look that up, because I can't give all the info now. But in one case, right to George Bush Sr.'s home, where I think a big wave crashed into his cottage. But anyways, God sends hurricanes. He can make, it's going to go this way. It completely goes the other way around. Hurricanes, what is there now? 4 of them that have got to level 5. One of them within 12 hours from a level 1 or a tropical storm. Crazy. And you don't think we're living in the end times? So there you go. I do believe in my heart that he is what they say he is. But I can't, I'm just telling you what I believe. And I believe that they're redacting his name. God bless.